Hello, everybody. Hi, Starla. Hello, Sharon. Hello. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. It's Monday. It has been a Monday today. It certainly has. It has been Monday. And what I thought I would do tonight, it is not going to work out, so we're going to punt instead. Hello. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Connie. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Dana. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Welcome. I'm looking for some examples to show you of some things. Hope you're doing well tonight. I do. It has been a day where I hit the ground running real early and have not taken a breath. That's not entirely true. At one point today, I absolutely faded into oblivion for a little bit and crashed. So, it's not like I haven't taken a breath at all. It's just been one of those days where it's just been a lot. How's Tim doing, Linda? How's Tim? I hope he's doing well. Tell him I said hello, if you would. Had another card here I was looking for. I wanted to show you, but I'm not sure I can put my hand on it. Sorry, I know, this is so professional. Oh well. You weren't here for the professionalism. You were here to see what's going on in Barb's crazy world today. I know. This whole box that I'm digging through is cards that I have made. Here we go. Maybe they're in this. We'll find out. Yeah. Okay. And I try to keep one sample of all of them, but sometimes I miscue and I get in a hurry and I send them off, you know. I send off my samples somewhere. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what I can show you. And then we're going to... I hope you're okay for more mandalas, because that's what we're doing tonight. Yep. Except we're not starting with the watercolor part. Hello, Jenny. Good to see you. You got here at the beginning, Jenny. Yes, you did. Hi, Angela. Tim hasn't had a fall for 2 weeks. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. I'm so glad. I am so glad to hear that. Bless his heart. You tell him I said hello, would you? Please. Please tell him that I said hello and sent him a big hug from Missouri. Okay. All right. I think I've got what I can show you. Yeah. All right. Let's just look through some examples One of the things that I like to do is I like to have cards that I can send to people. I love to do my own Christmas cards. I have not been able, have not had the privilege of doing that for a while. But I thought I would show them to you and show you some examples of some things. Hello, Mary. Good. Thanks, Linda. Hello, Mary Atelier. Or Atelier. I'm not sure how you say it. I'm all dressed up for you today. Okay. But I'm armed with a little coffee and with a message on it. That just makes you guys. Okay, I don't know if I can show you this without spilling it. I have to show you what the kids at Starbucks sent me. I just now here. Now we'll do it this way. We'll do it here. Can you guys see that? That's enough to make me cry. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to. You don't know how to say it either, Mary? Okay, good. Good. Anyway, it's been a day. It's been a day that started last night when Muppet got lost. Muppet, the dog. She doesn't hear. She doesn't see well. She got disoriented when we let her out to go to the bathroom. She got disoriented and she got lost. But we found her. Ugh. We found her. She was real upset and she was real disoriented and, trying to find a black dog in the dark who doesn't hear and who doesn't see much and who got scared and lost her head. It was quite an experience. But anyway, like I said, we found her. So that meant that today I had to update. I had not updated her tag, on her collar. And so I updated that. I updated the chip information. She's chipped from the animal rescue where we got her. Now, she's 16 and a half, you guys. And the guy says, do you want to pay $99 for a lifetime whatever, or do you want to pay $59 a year and $19 for every year after that? And I said, I think I'll do the yearly lifetime. She's 16 and a half. Anyway, hey, Becky. Anyway, so we got all that done. Sometimes you have to have something that shakes you up, Okay. Let's talk cards. Let's talk some cards. So these are cards. Last week we were doing, was it last week? Maybe it was. Did I do the freeform mandalas on Friday? I don't know when I did them. Was it last Monday or last Friday? I'm telling you, I'm not sure where I live and I don't know what day it is. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this is, I have done these different ways. So I'm going to explain these to you because I thought they might help you in some of the things that you might want to do. This is a mandala. This is recorded on stream. I don't know that all the pen work is recorded on stream, but this is done using chalk pastels, water activated pastels. Friday we did relatives. Hi, Amber. Man, I don't know when we did what we did. Anyway, it doesn't matter really. I know it was very unsettling for everybody. Anyway, it had a happy ending, so that's what matters. Okay, let's talk mandalas. So what I do sometimes on these is I will make color copies. Now, part of what got today kind of off to a rocky rocky situation is both of my printers are dead, and so that's not good. But this is from an HP inkjet printer, and it's an old one, and it finally gave up the ghost, and then my my other one gave up the ghost this afternoon. So I can't print them for you to show you anything, but I can show you examples. So this is the original mandala was considerably bigger than this, and then I believe I either took a picture of it and put it in my computer and printed from the computer, or I was able to get a copy of it straight through. It was small enough that I could get the copy, you know, lay it on the scanner bed of the copy and print it that way. And then this is cut out. So this is cut out on just fussy cut out and applied to the card, okay, glued to the card. And then I went back and added just some dots around the outside edge, and probably had to go back and re-outline it. But anyway, that is one way to utilize your artwork, is to copy it, so you don't have to do it. If you want to make it for cards, you don't have to do each one individually. It's a great way to do things, but you don't have to do that. All right, another way to do it is to take the same artwork. Again, I made multiple copies of it. This is probably scanned in the computer, is probably what I did, and then printed it from the computer. I'm guessing, because I've slept since then, so I'm not sure. That's how you made your cards. Oh, that's cool, Becky. And then I cut them apart and then used pieces and parts of them on the card. So this card, different shape. This is the square card. These cost more to mail. This is a 4x6, I think, or 3. Let me see what it is before I just tell you craziness. It is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So whatever size card that is, that's what it is. Okay. So that's another way to utilize your artwork, is to use pieces and parts. And then by using different, these have been hanging out in a box for a while, so they're kind of warped a little bit. But by using different colors of the card bases, you can see, and here's yet another one, you can see how differently the, and essentially I've used the same arrangement with this particular mandala, but on the different backgrounds you can see how very different they look. Okay, and these are just pre-folded card bases that I got at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and you can also order them from Amazon. Okay, but just because, like for example, this blue is not the exact blue, but a similar blue is in this card that's in the ink, or the water-soluble pastel is what I used, I believe, for this. This is what I used, the Charvin water-soluble pastel painting sticks. These were from Jerry's Artorama. They did a demonstration with these online one day, and so I got these. And they look just like regular pastels, but they activate with water, so they're water soluble. So that, I believe, I'm pretty sure that that's what I did this mandala with. But you can see, so colored card backgrounds and a craft color. Same mandala, done different ways. But the point is, I colored it and created it once, and then I just utilized it in different ways. Okay? So that is one of the fun things that you can do with your art. And like this one, this doesn't have this bright lime green in the background, but honestly, lime green works with almost everything. So those are some ways that you can do that. So these are color copies printed from, printed on my inkjet printer. Not even a laser printer, it's an inkjet printer. Okay, so there's that idea. This is another way of doing mandalas, which these were done on, I printed these on vellum. I believe it's what I did. Yeah, I'm sure I did. I printed these on vellum, and then I put, I dropped alcohol ink in on the back of the vellum. I'm going a little bit from memory here. And that's how I made the different colors. Kind of, you can kind of control the alcohol inks, not a lot, but you can control them a little bit. And then I just added some sentiments. Some of these are snarky. Most of them seem like they're snarky. Why limit happy to an hour? Some days I rely heavily on coffee, but my ability to ignore reality. This is my particular favorite. I've got a good heart, but this mouth. So same thing, just a different way to use the artwork and repurpose it, because these were created once and then printed out and then played around with alcohol inks. This is another one. This is getting into the freeform mandalas, and this was just playing with alcohol inks. And so this is more of a flower form than it is a mandala, but you could look at it and you can see what you want to see there. Okay, and that's done on vellum and then just stitched on the card base. So you can call it a mandala or you can call it a flower, your choice. I call it a mandala. All right, this is, I'm not sure where the original of this is, but this was created as a 12 by 12. These were my 2019 Christmas cards. This one was done on watercolor paper, and then I cut it out and I mounted it on a gray background. Took a picture of it, and then I had these printed. So these are actual photographs. Okay, so these are actual photographs that are 5 by 5. Let's see, no, 4. They're 4 by 4. And so in order to make them work on this size card base, I had to mat them. And so that's what I did. So I picked up one of the colors in the mandala and used it as the mat. Now when you do a mandala like this on a big piece, a 12 by 12 piece of paper, so it was a 12-inch, basically a 12-inch circle. When you do it on a big piece like that and then shrink it down, it looks incredibly complex. But they're not. They're not nearly as complicated as it looks, because you look at that and you go, oh my goodness, how in the world could you ever how could you ever do a mandala that size? And you can't. That's the thing. You can't do one that size. But you can do it big and then shrink it down. Okay, so there's that idea. Here's another one. This was also in 2019, apparently. And this is done similarly. So this was done in a big format. I think I did this on stream. So this is done on the 12 by 12 paper. And then taken a photograph of it and then shrink it down. And I had these printed. These that are this size are printed on Walgreens, which is a local drugstore. Okay. And a mandala is a mandala. You take a design and you start in the middle, and I say this over and over, but you make one choice, one decision, and repeat it around the mandala or the circle. If you don't want to call it mandalas, call it a circle design. It's okay. Whatever you want to call it. And so in this case, because, excuse me, I really wanted it to look like Christmas motifs, then I did specific things like peppermint candies and garland and bells and things like that. So I don't know. Hold on just a second. I need to quickly send a quick text message. I'm going to let you look at this and talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'll be right back. Yes, I'm coming back. 1 second. Okay, sorry, I just had to send that quick message. Okay, so you don't have to do things like this, which are just like more stroke work or designs, that kind of thing. You don't have to do this kind of thing for it to be a mandala. You can do it, you can make them using actual designs that have to do with a season or a specific motif. Okay, so holly leaves in the center make an interesting design. The holly berries around the edge make an interesting design. The garland does. The peppermint candies and the jingle bells out here, and then just dots and dashes and tchotchke stuff. Hello, Linda. Okay, so there's that one. This is another one which I don't have one of these finished, so I'm going to show you this one. This one I also used as a Christmas card, but I don't have any of those left, obviously. But I'm going to let you see what it looks like just as the photograph. And the reason I chose this as a Christmas card was not because of any of the motifs, it was just because of the color combination. And again, I did the mandala as a large piece, cut it out, mounted it on red, and then took the picture. Now, when this was printed at Walgreens, they cut off some of the, they blunted. Can you see how they blunted the circle? So they cut away part of the circle. So when I mounted these on the card base, so let's pretend that this is the one I mounted it on. When I mounted it on the card base, then I just went out here and added a little bit more on the actual card base after these were attached to the card. So at first I was really upset that they had done that, and then I thought, oh, it doesn't really matter. I'll just do it, just add to it. And I did. This was another one of the Christmas cards. This was from 2020 apparently. And this was a rendition of Charlie, taking a photograph. We had a photograph of Charlie. I made a line drawing from it, and then I painted this on a canvas, took a picture of it, And these, because these are bigger, if you can see, this is bigger, significantly bigger. See how much bigger that is? I think it's, let's measure it. So this was a 4 3/4 square print. These are from Persnickety Prints. That's where this is ordered. And these are so nice. Persnickety Prints. I could choose the finish. So this was a matte finish, where this is a shiny finish. To get a matte finish through Walgreens, I had to order them. The glossy prints they would print in-house. Hello, Christine. Good to see you. So this is a painting on a canvas. Take a picture of it and then have prints made and then make cards out of it. So the thing about doing this kind of stuff, if you have to order the prints, you have to give yourself some time. So that's one of the things you got to do. I still matted these. So this is matted on a black mat, I think. Let me see. Did I? No, I did not. Take it back. We designed these. So this is a 5x5 print. Sorry, I just now realized what I was telling you wasn't correct. We took the photograph and then put a black border around it in the computer and then printed that out as ordered the prints that way. So the black mat in this case was a part of it. Hey, I tell you what, trying to go back, reach back in my memory is a challenge. Okay, this is another example similar to this, which is inkjet, printed on a home inkjet printer. So is this. This was a canvas that I did. And after I made these cards, took the picture and made these cards, then I subsequently cut out this, I cut the dragonfly, cut it out of the canvas and used it on something else. But so it was kind of nice to have the cards, to have the picture, because this is what the actual painted canvas looked like. That is true, Amber. That is true. Thank you for that. These were, I think I used these as cards also. I think I used these maybe as Christmas cards one year, 2018. This was a class that I did for the web for HowToGetCreative.com. This again is a print that I had printed at Walgreens. And what I wanted to show you here, first of all, this is a piece of fabric art. Okay, so the whole thing is fabric art. So the stitching in the background, the face. This is a what I call a self-portrait. I love her butterfly hair. And the way that I printed these, had them printed at Walgreens, so they're glossy. But the way you mat them can totally change the way that they look. And her earring is different. I guess these are actually two different. It's the same face, but done slightly two different ways, slightly different, but matted with different backgrounds. Okay. So this is all fabric art taken a photograph of, and that. Okay, that was the Charlie one. Okay, so that shows you some different ideas. Remember that your square cards cost more to mail, and so what I do is I go to when I go to the post office and I buy card or stamps for these cards, I keep them in the envelope with the square cards, because that way I just have the postage ready to slap on the cards. Okay, I think that is, yeah, that's all of them. Okay. So I thought that it might give you some ideas for some different ways to use your cards if you want to use them. If you do not want to incur the extra postage stuff, and then make them on the 4.5, whatever it is, that size, this size instead of square. Okay? Hello, Rhonda. All right. Any questions so far? I don't think that I was really paying too much attention. To questions. If you have questions, put them in caps for me. That way I can see what you asked. I'll take a second here. Long day. I understand. I understand. Totally understand. Okay. So those are some ideas for you for your maybe utilizing your artwork. If you don't want to do individual cards. All right, let's go. I put all this stuff in a bag because I'm traveling back and forth. Yeah, I'm traveling back and forth a lot. And so I put all this stuff in the bag thinking my eyes are always bigger than my stomach, as my mom used to say. I'll just go, I'll do all this work tonight. Yeah, doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Okay, this one I showed the other day, whenever it was that I think I was on last, but I'm not entirely sure when I showed it. But this one is one that I've worked on maybe a couple of times, I don't know, for Christmas cards, and I never did get it finished. Technically, I could take a picture of this and shrink it down to one of those small sizes and we could call it done, but I just, had plans to do more to it. This is done on watercolor paper, a 12 by 12 square watercolor paper, and then colored pencils, and I don't know what all else I used on this, to tell you the truth. And then lots of, oh, I know what I did. I used Inktense pencils on this. That's what I used. And then the glaze and Jelly Roll pens. So that's what it is. I really like to do the Inktense pencils on top of watercolor, the watercolor backgrounds, or an acrylic background, thin washes of acrylic paint. I like that also, because once the Inktense pencils are activated with water and they are dry, they stay permanent. And they stay, the pigment has to be totally activated with water. And sometimes I use pencils and sometimes I use the blocks and pick up the color from the blocks. But that's how I get this really intense color. And then I can come back over it with the Jelly Roll pens, and the color, like the whites, stay white and so forth. Okay? Okay. So there's that. But then again, I will cut this down at some point. If I ever get around to using it, I'll cut it down. And I'm just going to take the pins out of here because I'm tired of keeping the pens separate. So we're just going to take the pins out, and we just may label that done and move on. Okay, here is this one that we did the last time we were together, I believe it was the last time we were together. This one needs to be put under some books and flattened out a little bit more. We have some more of these, and so I thought we'd just play with those a little bit. And yeah, we'll just do that. Okay. Let's do this one, shall we? Just because. I don't really know why. It's just the one that appeals to me in the moment. And I have a piece of black cardstock, so if I need to clean off a pen or two, I can do that. And I have another piece of cardstock here, scrappy stuff, so I like to keep things like that so I can clean off the pens. Hello, Signa. Alright. You like the light bulbs on that one? I do too. Okay. Alright, so let's start with this one. Let's just take a look at it and see what we think. And I think what I'm going to do on this one is get down to one of my pins. This one. Okay. I highly recommend the Jelly Roll pins, but if you're not going to use them, if you're going to buy them and just have them sitting around, don't do it. Okay, don't do it if you're just going to buy them and let them sit in a box, because they eventually don't want to work for you. You need to buy them and use them. If you're gonna buy them, do use them. Let's do some purple first. So what I'm going to do, and I'm just going with what I see here. This is watercolor. We did this the last time. It's just watercolor. We put on some of these I did with water first, and then put the watercolor, cheap watercolors, on and let them bleed out. And there were a couple that I did a wash for the background, and quite honestly, I don't remember which one I did this, but it doesn't really matter. Either process works just fine. So let's start here, and I'm going to take a look at what I see and just kind of give myself some rounds to work with. And then from that point, then I will add or decide what's going to happen next. So I'm just going to kind of outline what I see happening with the watercolor here. Not precisely, but just kind of giving myself a place to begin. And let's do, I'm sort of matching a little bit. I'm matching the, more or less matching the pen color to the paint. And because these are free form, they are going to be asymmetrical. They are not going to have they're just going to be their own thing. Yeah, they're from Japan. That's probably why they still work, Signa. That's probably why they still work. Okay, and so this one out here, let's I'm just going to go for kind of doing a freeform outline that's kind of what I see, but not necessarily exactly what I see. Okay, so that gives us a place to begin. And now I'm going to come back into the center, and I can use the same colors that I started with, or I can do something different. In this case, I think I'm just going to use this same color, this purpley color. And I can either turn this into a flower or turn it into a mandala, or it can be a hybridized thing of kind of both. So let's start here. Give us a center. And from there, I'm just going to give us a middle. Okay, just give us a middle. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has 6 petals on this thing, and nothing is square with the world, which is appropriate. Cabbage flower, cabbage rose. I make it look easy. I've been doing this a while, Jenny. I've been doing it a while. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to make another row. The hardest part is to try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. It is far easier to just do it and not explain it. All right, and I'm going to just color this in. I do like having a strong center if possible, but I don't want to obscure all the watercolor. All right, I'm going to pick up another color. I've kind of established this is my color palette. These were the pens that I've worked with here. I can always pick up something else, and I probably will add some black and white, but this is kind of what I've started with, so we're going to go with it. I'm just adding some extra little teardrop shapes in there. And I may or may not add color to those. I often like to use a dot or a dash and a dot, or a line and a dot. Sometimes I get carried away and I put a lot of detail in, starting in the center, and then grow it out. Sometimes I don't put a lot of detail. I know, Becky, you are very good at it too. Becky does some beautiful mandalas, believe me. Let me switch to, I don't know whether this, this is a metallic or glitter green. Let's see if it will give us a little bit of the same kind of color, but because it's metallic, it's one of the glitter jelly rolls. You know, sometimes they just take on a little more interesting character. And besides that, I just like them. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You got the idea of what I'm doing. Okay, the next thing, let's do some, see if this pink, no, that's too bright. Okay. Okay, this is one of the Starlight pens, I believe. Yeah. It has this, does it say Starlight on it? Stardust, Starlight, what is it? Stardust. It's one of the Stardust pens. Okay, Stardust Meteor, to be exact. All right, and this is kind of a bold line from this pin. This tip is bold by comparison to the other ones. Like, for example, I'll give you a comparison. The one on top is the regular jelly roll, which is, I'm not sure I can tell you what point it is, but it is much smaller than the Stardust. And that's okay. You just have to know, kind of realize, recognize that that's the way it is. Okay, let's go with this Stardust one. It's kind of in the same color palette. And let's do something. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a whole bunch of lines that are radiating out from the center. If you are someone who's carrying a lot of tension, not mentioning any names, Barb, if you happen to be carrying a lot of tension in your body, mind, or spirit, drawing mandalas or doing Zentangling or a combination of both can help you calm it down. Okay, so hello, Vale. You're hearing a funny sound from the microphone? Well, I don't know what it is. Sorry, you guys. I don't have anything here. We can't blame it on Chance because he's not here. Otherwise, we'd probably try and blame it on him, huh? All right. So I just added some lines there, and then it might be interesting to, in between those kind of fat lines, to add another thinner line. And when I do this just purely whatever it feels like at the moment. I pre-plan nothing when I'm working on these. Now, the Christmas one that I showed you with the bells and the holly leaves and stuff like that, I kind of made an assortment of designs that were my reference points, but I didn't pre-plan what I was going to do on that. Okay, and on this, I'm going to make this a little bit different just by adding some dots in irregular spots. So they're not all the same. The lines aren't the same length, so the dots are not going to show up at the same length or the same distance from the center. And also, one of the things I enjoy doing with a piece like this that's small is you can just keep turning it to make your hand more comfortable, if that's a source of concern. If not, just do it any old way you want to. Okay, so we got that going on. Okay, kind of like static. I don't know. Sorry. I'll have to talk with Race and see if we can straighten, see if we can find it. We are going to be moving the studio at some point, hopefully before too long, and at the point at which I will be moving the studio, I probably will be off the air for a little while until we get it sorted back out. So until then, we may just have to punt and put up with stuff. I know audio issues are the worst. They're even worse than video. So if it bugs you too much, just mute. That's all I can tell you. Just watch me on mute. That's okay. Okay, so let's come out here, and I'm going to I like scallops a lot. And with freeform things, the scallops are going to be different lengths. And if that kind of thing bothers you, then a freeform mandala would not be your thing. I find them kind of fascinating just because I'm letting the watercolor base guide me. To see what happens. Every 20 or 30 seconds. Oh, that's gotta be annoying, you guys. I am very sorry about that. Okay, in between these, I'm going to add a little circle, because you can never have too many circles or dots. You just can't. Although I was having computer issues earlier today, so such is life, you guys, such is life. Or as I like to refer to it, first world problems. First world problems, I don't know. Okay, so let's, I'm going to take a white. Sounds like you're accidentally fluffing. Fluffing? I don't know what fluffing is. What is fluffing, Jenny? I'm probably showing my ignorance. I'm just going to drop a little white dot inside the little circles. Which may activate the watercolor underneath and tint the white circles, but you can always come back over the top. Life goes on. That's true. The voice is clear. Well, that's good. There's always something to be grateful for, huh? There is always something to be grateful for. Okay, so I've just added a little bit of white to kind of spark that up, and I may come back and do it again. Because usually a second coat of white, and this is a white paint pen, usually a second coat of white will help it stay a little whiter. Okay. All right, let's go to a different color now. And I'm just sort of expanding the whole mandala in other words, I'm growing the mandala. Make one decision and repeat it. Actually growing mandalas or designing them or making them or whatever. It's a very simple process. People think it's very complex, but it's not. And you know why? Because it's only one decision at a time. Okay, I need to, and I could grow this from the inside out or the outside in. I started on the outside, so that I'm going to continue. But I'm going to change a little bit because I need to be able to see a little bit better. My hand was getting in the way. And sometimes I really enjoy using a very subtle color palette, or like tone on tone with the pens, which is what's happening here. You can see hopefully that the green is very subtle, but it is going to enhance that petal. It's going to enhance that, make it a little greener. If my pen decides to work. Okay, that one's not going to work. Let's see if I have another one of that color, hopefully. Okay, try again. When a pen decides it's not going to work, sometimes there's just not much you can do about it. And I've decided that life is too short to worry about pens. Yeah, they do cost some money. But this is a hobby that costs money because you got to have stuff to work with. And so I don't worry about it. It's like brushes and paints and stuff. If the paints dry up, throw them out and get something else. Either that or change hobbies. Maybe that's what you should do. I always end up looking like a geode. Oh, that's kind of a cool thing. Geodes are beautiful. And the other thing with the Jelly Roll pens, and sometimes with paint pens too, is you have to work a little slower than maybe you want to, because you need to give the ink time to come out of the pen. Sometimes we have expectations from our materials or our tools that are not realistic. Okay, so let's see if I can tilt this so you can maybe see. The green lines are there. Whether you can see them or not is another story. Okay, so we'll kind of turn that around. I like that. That's just a subtle, kind of a subtle round there. So it's a good backdrop for something else. And then the next one, let's switch it up and let's go back to the pink. Even though this is kind of the blue-green color, teal color out here. And let's do okay, I'm going to come into the areas between these kind of petal shapes here. And add some little teardrop or comma stroke type clusters there. This is one of my very favorite little motifs to add. I think you develop your own favorites. You just develop your own favorite motifs and just see how they line up with what you like to do. Okay. And how many different ways you can use them. That's the other thing. So I'm going to, and sometimes I like to air draw. Yeah, okay. Out here. And I'm basically ignoring what these petal shapes are doing out here. I'm just giving myself a new design. This one's going to be a little more challenging because I don't have as much room to work with. All right, so that sort of changes things up a little bit. And at that point, I think what we'll do is go back to this kind of blue-green color that was out here. And let's go back to kind of something that's familiar, which is dots. And again, I'm going to kind of ignore that petal shape that I drew there a minute ago. And I'm going to work a little bit more using the edge of my color, that original watercolor. Don't you love it, me trying to talk and do this at the same time? I can and and carry on. And why am I doing it this way? I don't know. Just because I wanted to. All right. In Zentangle, they call these orbs. I guess because they're not totally circular, and also I guess because that makes them, it gives them kind of their own lingo. So instead of circles, they're known as orbs in the Zentangle universe. You can always come back and use colored pencils. We did a little bit of that with the one we did the other, whenever the last time was we did it. I don't even know when it was. But when we did it, I used some colored pencils. And one of the things, like I said earlier, I love is the Inktense pencils or Inktense blocks. We should probably do that on one of these. Okay, so we kind of have that going on a little bit, so that helps a little bit, make it a little more unique. Okay, gotcha, Jenny. I just read what you said. Okay, So we're going to take that, and now we're going to do something else. What am I going to do? Just looking and seeing what does it want to be when it grows up. Let's do okay. Let me go to this. Now I'm going to use the purple. Okay. So when in doubt, repeat something. Repetition is comfortable. And so I'm going to repeat something from a previous part of the mandala, which is a line and a dot. The dot is a great way to give the line a place to stop, to end, so it doesn't look quite so abrupt. And so I like the dots. Also, you can alter the end of a line with the dot. You can make the line shorter, you can make the line longer, depending on where you put the dot. Okay? All right. So next, let's go to, actually, I'm going to go to, let me see if I can find a black pen that will write for me. This one just doesn't have enough of a point left on it, so we're going to forget about that one. Okay. Now, this is using a micron pen, and micron pens, especially the felt tips, will clog up pretty quickly. So we're going to see if this will last throughout this round. And again, I'm going to repeat something that I used before, which are these little lines that kind of radiate out. Let's see if I'm going to just come this way. They kind of radiate out from the center, sort of. Be sure that you clean off your pen tip fairly frequently when you're working with the felt tips. I just put one there so I give myself. And don't push too hard when you're using the felt tips. If you are somebody who writes very with a lot of pressure, you're going to wreck the felt tips real quick. So ease up on the pressure, or go to the PN tips, which are plastic nib. Go to those and use those instead. The tinier the nib, the closer together you can make your lines. Sometimes mine are pretty close together and sometimes not. Sometimes my eyes kind of cross after a while doing some of these, you know. And you just got to take a second and blink a little bit and then let your eyes refocus. And if the lines are a little sketchy and not super even, you know, I'm okay with that. Okay, so we've got some black coming in, which I like what the black does on the mandalas. The black and white really help them a lot, I think. Okay, I'm going to put some black in here, and this time I'm going to repeat this motif right here. Because this pen is a tiny little tip. This is an 02. It allows me to fit those in those little scallops. Not being too picky about whether they're all the same or whether they all exactly touch each other. It's okay. When you're doing stuff like this, especially in the free form, it's kind of like slow stitching, but we're doing it with pins. When you're doing things like this, don't get caught up in the perfection of it. Just don't. Just don't. You'll be glad you didn't. Okay, and so now I'm going to come back with this ring in here that I went around was in pink. And I'm going to put a pink dot at the intersection of those little stroke, comma stroke clusters, we'll call them. So it almost looks like those little comma stroke clusters are growing out of a nice dot. And it also helps to bring out that line that we drew around that ring of watercolor right in the beginning of this process. Okay, so you kind of got the idea. Okay, this line, these green outlined petals are not working for me at this moment. And so I'm going to come back and I'm going to use a different color. I thought I was going to like that, but I don't. And so I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind. And I'm going to... let's see, what am I going to do? I'm just going to come in and just pretend like those lines aren't there. And maybe not do as many as I did the first time. So they will still be there a little bit, but not quite so much. They'll have more presence because I have used a more prominent color, but that other color will still kind of be hanging out in the background. Okay. And then that gives us some spaces that we could actually fill in with something if I want. Or not. I'm not sure what I want to do, so I'm just going to give myself a little bit more presence there. And then before I get too carried away, I'm going to let that just kind of sit and hang out for a minute. I'm going to come out here to this outer ring of stuff. Maybe I'll come here with white. Let's see if we can emphasize these dots out here around the outside edge a little bit more. And just dot in there. And sometimes people ask me how I make the decisions I make for color choices and design ideas and stuff, you know, I'd like to give you some lofty answer, and there isn't one. I grab whatever feels like the right thing, and sometimes it's not the right thing, you know, and I go, yeah, no, don't like that. Got to go back and do something else. And, you know, it's kind of like if I get far enough along and I go, yeah, this just isn't going anywhere, I've been known to throw one in the trash. Not too often, because most of the time when I come back and look at them down the road after they've rested for a while, I don't know what happens to them, but they seem to get better. I don't know how that happens. But that's not unusual with creative projects, whether it's fabric or paper or what. They just, somehow things get better as they sit. I guess our expectations might change, huh? Okay, so we're going to let that just kind of hang out there and dry for a little bit. Maybe try to emphasize the white paint from the pens will often reactivate the watercolor, and then it kind of makes the watercolor will come up and it will tint the white paint. Okay. Are we getting back the cabbage now? I don't know. I don't know. Are we? I don't know. Okay. And it's pretty busy. And that's okay. I don't mind the busyness of it. And then I sometimes just enjoy taking one of the pen colors, and it really doesn't matter which one, and seeing if I can do something just completely different around the outside edge that will relate to what's happening, but it's not exactly the same. So we have some choices. We can do these kind of spiky lines that we have, but that might not be what I want to do. I don't think it is. I can repeat the scallop idea, which is something I frequently will use, and I think maybe that's what we're going to do here, is do the scallop idea, and I think I'm going to go to the pink instead of the purple. All right, let's do that. Okay, and then we will play with that idea and see what happens. What are you all celebrating Thanksgiving? And if you are, what are your plans, or what are you doing? Are you entertaining, or are you going somewhere, or... And on top of that, what are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? Gratitude can change a lot of things. Okay, now that totally changes the look of this mandala by just that one thing. Hi, Kate. Okay, Becky, thanks for hanging out here. Just going to be 4 of you. He says just the 4 of us. You'll be grateful when the year's done. I hear ya. Okay. This is going to take a minute, but I'm going to bead the line. That's what I call this, is beading the line. It's like ball chain. But I really like the way it looks. And besides that, it's making the one decision, and I don't have to make another decision about what to do until I get all the way around this mandala. And that's nice because it just feels good, calming. See? Kind of looks like lace. There you go. Turkey, canned cranberry, and a pumpkin pie. My little great-grandson, who has an issue with his eyes, got to go to the ophthalmologist today. He was born the middle of June. He got to go to an ophthalmologist today, and the ophthalmologist examined his eyes. I don't think the baby was at all amused about that, not even remotely amused about that. But eventually they want to do surgery on his eyes, so when he's between 1 and 2 years of age, to release some kind of a muscle that is not behaving properly or something. So that's that. They have information to work with now. And you know, sometimes if you just have information, that can make a world of difference in how you deal with your circumstances. It's the unknown that is so challenging. And sometimes it's a matter of surrender, and accepting, not necessarily in their case by any means, but I'm talking about myself. Sometimes it's a matter of just surrender to whatever is happening. And just realize that you just have to just let go and allow things to play out. There are a lot of times that we just aren't in control. Actually, most of the time we're not in control. We like to act like we're in control, but we're not. And, I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to you all. It's just like, let go, just surrender, just allow, just allow, right? Okay, let's use this green color. Okay, and I'm going to put a single dot inside the scallop. It draws the color out. Into the white of the background. I hear Miss Muppet coming upstairs. Hi, pretty girl. She says, "Where is there anybody here?" Poor thing. She went, "Hi." Well, hi. Do you want to say hello to the people? You want to say hello to your fans? Let me get... Do you want to say hello to your people? They probably need a puppy break. Yeah. Yeah, since Chance isn't here, they need to say hello to you. Yeah. Yeah, you're a good girl. It's a good girl. This is Muppet, in case you haven't met Muppet. She's 16 years old. Yep. And she got herself lost last night, but we found her. A black dog in the dark of night. Yes. She got disoriented when she went out to go to the bathroom, but we found her. I wasn't sure we were going to, but we did. Yep. You good girl, aren't ya? So she travels back and forth with me, especially when I'm going to be gone for a number of hours. Then she comes back over here with me, and she seems to do okay doing that. Chance, on the other hand, is very happy to be where he is. He likes his house. Yeah. Well, you're being really good staying here for a long time. She is so deaf, she just doesn't hear. I think she feels the percussion of me clapping. That's how I communicate with her. Hand signals and clapping is how I communicate with her. And the last night when I was trying to get her and I was clapping, I could tell that she was hearing something, but she couldn't tell where the sound was coming from. Oh boy, that was exciting. And finally she determined where the sound was coming from, but boy, it was a minute, you guys. It was a minute. So I was really, really grateful that we found her. So, speaking of gratitude, huh? Yeah, speaking of gratitude. She has 2 dog friends now in her new place to live. But she did not stick with them. I think she just got disoriented because it was really dark out, and I think she just got herself disoriented and didn't know for sure where she was. And then she got something, probably spooked her anyway, so she took off, and oh goodness, it was exciting. It was too exciting for my heart, I'll tell you that. Too exciting for me. Okay, let's back this up and look at it. It's, I probably have done things that I like better than this one, but actually it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think I can like it. Let's put something in the corners, shall we? Let's put something in the corners. Let's see. I make it up as I go along, peoples. I just make it up as I go along. All right, so we've got something happening in the corners. And let's then take one of these pens. Let's just do this with the purple. And just grow a little corner. Just grow a little corner design of some kind. picture, but what she might need to go outside. So if you guys can give me a second, I'm going to let her go out. I'm going to let you look at this just a second. Let me put the dog out. I'll be right back. I talk to her like she can hear me. Hey, Dorothy. There you go, Elton Faye. There you go. You said it. I did not. All right, let's add my purple pen is not cooperating exceedingly well here. Okay, then I'm going to come the other direction. I'm just going to build this border around, just see how it grows. Just see how it grows. Okay, and then come back. So I'm carrying this dotted line business out here into the border. Okay, so we got that. And then I'm going to, this is awfully naked in here, so we're going to add at least a little more character into these corners. I don't want to totally take away from what the mandala is doing, but sometimes it's just, I don't know, I can spend as much time growing what's happening around the outside as I just about can with the mandalas. Not always. Okay, and let's go back to this bluey color and add a little bit more into these. It does take a little bit for the jelly rolls to dry, so you do need to kind of try to keep your fingers out of them. And I like to carry the colors around. Okay? Wonder if that makes sense. So whatever I've used in the center of the mandala, if I'm going to add a border, then I like to carry at least most of those colors out into the border. Okay. And so now, pretty much it's feeling relatively finished, not completely. Let's do one more thing and then we're going to call it good. I'm going to go back to this tiny little black pen. And I'm just going to add a little bit of black. Just a little bit. So that way it gives it just a little bit more, fills in the corners just a little bit more. I like it to just have a motif feeling at the corner, like not like you're looking at it going, oh, what's that? You know, I just like it to have more of a finished look. And then I am, just because I can't not do it, I'm going to take my blue ink and I'm going to ink around the edge because that helps to finish framing it out. And it also, sometimes if your border isn't exactly even, you know, if you haven't exactly made everything even going around the edge of it, that just sort of helps even things out. And it will mess it up a little bit. And I don't know, I like to have, it's a free form thing, so I don't like everything to be too perfect. Okay, and then before you lay it down on the mat, use a lint roller and pick up the sponge poops. All right, then you can look at it and go, okay, which way is the way around? Do I like it this way? That doesn't feel like the way around for me. That way is not bad. I don't like that. I prefer it this way, I think. Okay, good enough. Okay, at that point, we're going to call it done. And I'm going to, actually, I'll wait and sign it once I put it on a card base. So I'm not going to stick it on the card base tonight. I'm just going to get the card base out and we'll pretend we're going to stick it down. Okay, so here we'll play with one thing, which I don't think I'm going to like, but there it is on craft. And let me get a white one out. I thought I had some white ones open. I do. Okay, here's a white card base. Let me fold it. Okay, here's the white one. So there it is on a white card base. It's better on white than the craft for sure. And So that's what it's going to look like when it's on that one. Here is the one we did the other day. Similar, but different. So we have that, and so that will fit right on there. I can mat it if I want to, or leave it just like that. Okay? Oh, you're welcome, Linda. I am so glad that you come hang out with us. Bye, Jenny. Bye. Good to see you. Okay, so mandalas, freeform mandalas. So there are 2 that are completed. Here are some other ones that who knows what's going to happen to those. But you just start and you just go with it and wing it until you get something that feels finished and feels, the way you like it. And then there you go. You got a card to give somebody, send somebody, or whatever. Right? Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me. I wish you all, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I wish you a very thankful day. I wish you lots of food, and I wish that you get to enjoy the day with people that you love. Friends, family, just whomever. And if you don't have friends or family close by, you know what else you can do? You can go and you can spend the day helping somebody else. Nursing homes, assisted living, all of those kinds of places, or somebody who lives alone. Maybe you're the one that lives alone and you go spend it with somebody else. All of those things can enhance the holidays, which can be difficult. I know, been there, done that. And it can enhance the difficult by giving to somebody else and helping them have a better day than they might have otherwise. So be kind to people. Make them a card. Make them a mandala. You saw how easy this is to do. You just sit down and you just start playing. You can use one color of pen. You can use one color of watercolor, just in different degrees of darkness and lightness. And then you can sit down and you can just play and make somebody a card and take it to them. Instead of send it to them, take it to them. All right. And with that, I'm going to take off. I have to go to the grocery store and get some stuff and travel on. I will see you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, whatever. I'm Barb Owen. Remember to get creative today because you know it's easy, and I'll see you before you know it. I will be back on Friday is the plan. So hopefully I will see you then. Bye for now.